The Last Letter. Mr. Henry was an old man living in quiet solitude at the edge of a small town. Every morning he would sit by the window, watching the road, waiting, hoping to see the mailman bring a letter from his only son, Daniel. But none ever came. Years ago, when Daniel was just 20, he told his father he wanted to be an artist. He had dreams of painting, of traveling, of making something beautiful out of life. But Mr. Henry, a practical man who had worked hard his entire life as a mechanic, didn't understand. "You'll waste your life chasing paintings," he said angrily. "You need a real job. I didn't break my back for you to throw your future away." Daniel shouted back, furious and heartbroken, "And I didn't ask you to break your back, I just wanted your support." The fight escalated. Words were said that neither could take back, and that night, Daniel walked out the door with nothing but a suitcase and silence. They never spoke again. Years turned to decades. Mr. Henry, too proud to apologize and too stubborn to reach out, waited for a letter that never came. Until one day, a new neighbor moved in, Lily, a kind young woman who began visiting the lonely old man. He told her everything about his son, the fight, the guilt that quietly gnawed at him, about how he wished he could go back, just once, and say, "I was wrong, I should have believed in you." Then one quiet evening, sensing the weight of time closing in, Mr. Henry handed Lily a letter. "If anything happens to me," he said, "please send this to Daniel. It's long overdue." A week later, Mr. Henry passed away in his sleep. Peaceful and still waiting, Lily kept her promise and mailed the letter. 2 weeks later, a man arrived at her house. His face was tired, his voice was soft. "I'm Daniel. You sent me the letter." Lily invited him in. She told him everything. "I always wanted to come back," Daniel said, eyes wet. "But I thought he hated me for leaving." He reached into his coat and pulled out a worn envelope. Inside were dozens of letters, written by him over the years, never sent. "I wrote every birthday, every New Year, every time I sold a painting, but I was too afraid he wouldn't forgive me." Lily stared at the letters, tears in her eyes. "He forgave you long ago, he just didn't know how to say it either." Daniel nodded slowly, then asked if he could see the room his father used to sit in. Lily led him to the chair by the window. There, resting on the windowsill, was an old unopened envelope addressed to Daniel. The handwriting was shaky, the ink smudged by age. She handed it to him. Daniel opened it. Inside was just one line. "I was wrong. I hope one day you'll forgive me for not seeing the artist you truly were." Daniel broke down, sinking into the chair. Outside, the mailman walked past just as he had for years, never knowing the letter that never came was the one that always mattered most. Moral: pride builds walls that love was never meant to climb. Forgive when you can, because one day all that's left is silence.